and welcome to another Chelsea chat. And I didn't expect to be speaking to you quite this soon, but I've been out this evening socially, and when I get home, I hear that Mauricio Potchettino has parted company with Chelsea Football Club by mutual consent. And the more I hear, the more I believe it probably was by mutual consent. He wanted to go, they didn't want to keep him. He wanted too much say on transfer policy, and they wanted to sell players for pure profit. Now, he had this meeting with Ed Barley, sporting directors, Paul Winstanley, and Lawrence Stewart, who I must say seem about as much use as a glass eye at a keyhole. He had this meeting. It appears from listening to people like Matt Law in the Telegraph, Fabrizio Romano, Ben Ornstein, that he wanted more of a say on transfers. He didn't want to sell Conor Gallagher. He didn't want to sell Trevor Chalobah. They want to, for pure profit. They weren't happy with the injury record and thought it may have something to do with his training methods, because he also had a similar problem at PSG and at Tottenham. So they're trying to sort of put it on him, although our injuries started to escalate before Poch came to the club, so I'm not totally sold on that. He wanted certain players brought in who they didn't. But the main bugbear was Conor Gallagher and Trevor Chalobah. Trevor Chalobah, whose stats are in the top 5 defenders in Europe since he came back into the first team, was it February? Why you'd get rid of him and keep Disaster, I just don't know. Disaster and Badiashile can't lace Trevor Chalobah's boots. It's as simple as that. And that's got to be at the door of these damn sporting directors and the owners that listen to them. So there we go. Ex-Tottenham man Pochettino has gone. I was never totally sold on him. I'm not sure if it was his managerial acumen that turned things round near the end, or if it was Enzo getting injured and Conor Gallagher playing with Caicedo a lot better in that middle, giving us a stable pivot and two players that would sit when the other one went forward and drop vice versa. I'm not sure. That was definitely happening a lot better once Enzo got injured. Would he have dropped Enzo? Other things that mystified me. Why you wouldn't play Ian Matson, but you played Levi Colwill, who's one of the best young central defenders in the country. Why you play him at left back for weeks and weeks on end? I just didn't get it. I never bought into him. I don't think he made much of an effort with the fans. I've never known a manager not go to the away end and at least clap them. I don't think he particularly liked Chelsea, and I don't think Chelsea particularly liked him. But he had grown on me, I must admit, because of the professional job that he was doing. And I think to sack him at this point is crazy, quite honestly. The ownership and these sporting directors proving they're as much use as a cat flap in a submarine. Absolutely dire. I don't know what they're playing at, and some of the names that they've brought up. The guy at Ipswich, just call him Graham Potter too. It's a big difference getting Ipswich promoted, which is a good job, don't get me wrong. But we're back. They're looking for a younger manager. How young do they want? Pochettino's 52. Ancelotti's 70 odd. How young do they want this manager? Do they want to bring the Milky Bar kid in or something? Because he'll definitely be a yes man. It won't matter who's sold. I want a they're not going to bring a Mourinho in. People are saying, oh Tuchel. I was told a couple of months ago that Mourinho was at Stamford Bridge. It was probably for some promotional thing or whatever. They're not going to bring a Tuchel in, are they? They don't want someone who's got a bit of backbone. They don't want someone who wants a say over their side. They just want someone to go coach and take the flak. So yeah, Pochettino lost one game in the last 15. Fair enough, there were some proper dodgy draws in there against Sheffield United and Burnley, which we can't take a lot of credit out of. But still a decent performance from where we were at the start of the season. Certainly when we lost to Wolves, was it Christmas Eve? It was absolutely dire. And things turned round after that. So I think he's very unlucky. Well, he's quite lucky because I reckon they've got to give him 20 million quid for writing off, well, him and his staff for writing off the end of the season. That don't sound like someone who's worried about financial fair play. And yet they want to flog Trevor Chalobah for 25 million. 25 million because it's pure profit. He's in the top 5 defenders in Europe on his stats. We're going to keep Disaster. How much do we pay for Disaster? We paid £38.5 million for one of the most inept, unaware, clumsy, ball-watching central defenders that I've ever seen. And that includes up the park. We paid £35 million for Badiashile. And don't get me wrong, he's not in Disasters League from being totally inept and unaware of what's going on. But he's not set the world alight. And Chalobah, 25 million. Now, if someone come in with 50 or 60 million bid, I'd say, we'll have to listen to it. They're talking about selling Conor Gallagher. How much are you going to have to pay to replace him? We don't know what Lavia's going to be like. He might play another 13 minutes and that's him gone again for another year. Ugo Chekwa, he looks decent, but he's no Conor Gallagher. And I know Conor Gallagher splits opinion. Some people think he's not good enough. Some people think this, that and the other. And I respect all views. I had this conversation the other day actually with someone who I really do respect on YouTube. But he's been one of our players of the season. Up there with Cole Palmer. Probably Cucurella last bit of the season. Gusto. He's been right up there. There's games when he saved us. There's games when his application, his heart, his love of Chelsea has been enough, has got us through. And like I say, you know, he might not be a first teamer, but I'd always have him as a squad player. Someone you can bring on to shore up a game, always. But no, it looks like our sporting directors and Egbali and possibly Bowley think differently. Now, if I was Connor and I loved the club the way he does, I refuse to be sold. I would run my contract down for next season and then I'd go, but I'd go on a free transfer just to stick it up him. He's not asking for fortunes, he's asking for half of what Raheem Sterling gets paid. And if you look at their performances this season, who deserves double what the other one does? Crazy. Our club is crazy. So Pochettino, I think it's a crazy time to get rid of him. I'm not overly upset he's gone. I'll be honest. I think it's a bit unfair. I think it makes our club look a laughing stock. But then again, I think we're a laughing stock anyway for buying overpriced crap players and selling underpriced Billy Gilmore to Brighton, 9 million quid. You had to pay 45 to get him back. I just, these sporting directors, I think the owners are useless. But I think these sporting directors are the guys that need sacking. I really, really do. Some of their decisions are farcical, absolutely farcical. So Poch, who most of the season hasn't had Fofana, hasn't had Reece James most of the season. A lot of the season, no Chilwell. Some of the season, no Colwill. Had to use Nicholas Jackson, a 22-year-old who's done quite well up front with 14 Premier League goals. But I do think we need a proper number 9 that you can rely on, with Jackson as a brilliant backup. And he's got us to 6 in the league. Whether that's by default because of that injury or whether it's down to his extreme technical knowledge and motivational skills. I want to know what you lot think of this. I think it's crazy. I'm dreading who we're going to get in. Some of the names mentioned, you know, the lad at Ipswich, is it McKenna? De Zerbi. Why you'd sack Pochettino and bring in De Zerbi, I have got no idea. We don't know if there was some sort of bromance going on between was it Winstanley that was at Brighton and deserve it? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. People say to me, "Who would you like to see in charge?" I don't know. I just got my head around Pochettino getting another year purely for continuity, and so you haven't got another period where a manager needs to get to know the team and the team need to get to know him. But not to be. I honestly don't know. Who would I like? Well, you might as well bring Mourinho back, mightn't you? Because it'll be a bloody good laugh, even if it ends in tears. It'll be a roller coaster ride. It'll be a roller coaster ride for a season or two, and there'll probably be a bit of silverware involved. Okay, that's all from me, folks. I don't know where we are as a club. This ownership seemed more trigger happy than Roman ever did, didn't they? Oh dear. Okay, let me know your thoughts. Speak to you soon. Up to Chelsea.